prayer for survivors of sexual abuse, for the loss of innocence and the long road home. Lord, I am not sure how to pray this, not because I don't have words. I have words. I have had words circling in me for a long time. Some of them grief, some of them anger, some of them a shame that tells me I should not be here, should not be asking for this, should not take up the space that this prayer requires. That shame is one of the first things I want to bring to you because it has been with me for a long time. And it does not belong to me. It was placed on me by what was done, by the silence that followed, by the way the world and sometimes the church responded or did not respond at all. The shame was never mine to carry. It belongs to the person who did what they did, and I have been carrying it on their behalf for long enough. Lord, I want to say plainly what happened, not in detail, not more than I'm able, but plainly without the softening that has sometimes made it harder to name. Something was done to me that should not have been done. Something was taken that I did not give. My body, my safety, my sense of the world as a place where I was protected. Those things were violated, and the violation was real, and it has had consequences, and those consequences have been with me ever since. I say that plainly because I have spent too long not saying it plainly, too long finding softer language or no language at all, too long carrying something in silence that was never meant to be carried alone in silence. What was done to me was wrong. I want to stay with that for a moment because I'm not always able to say it simply. There are so many things that have complicated it. The relationship to the person who did it, if there was one, the way it was explained or not explained afterward, the way I was taught to think about my own voice and whether what I experienced was as serious as it felt. The times that I was told directly or indirectly by silence or by words that what happened was partly mine. It was not mine. What was done to me was wrong. Without qualification, without division of responsibility, what was done to me was wrong, and I was not the one who did it. Lord, let me hear that, not just in my head, where I may already know it in some intellectual sense. Let it reach somewhere deeper. Let it find the place where the shame lives and speak directly to it. Lord, I want to grieve what was lost because there is grief here, real grief for real things that were taken. There was innocence, a way of being in the world that was unguarded and open, a way of inhabiting my own body without suspicion or vigilance. That was taken before I had the framework to understand what was happening. And once that kind of innocence is gone, I cannot simply decide to have it back. It was the background of everything, and then it wasn't. And learning to live without it has been its own long education. I grieve that. There was safety. the sense that certain spaces, certain people were reliably safe. That was altered. And relearning how to trust, how to be in a room, in a relationship, without the weight of what happened sitting somewhere in the background, that is slow work. It does not happen on a timeline. It does not cooperate with the desire to simply be done with it. I grieve that too. There may be years I'm grieving, time spent surviving rather than living, years organized around managing the aftermath of something that should never have happened, managing the responses, the way certain things open certain doors without warning, the way ordinary moments can suddenly stop being ordinary, years that might have looked different if the wound had not been there. Lord, I grieve those years. I'm allowed to grieve them. They were mine and they were taken. There may be grief for relationships, for the ways this wound has made certain kinds of closeness frightening, for the people who have not understood what they were encountering when they encountered the effects of this in me, for intimacy that has been complicated by something that happened before the relationship existed. And there may be grief for faith. If the person who did this was someone in the church, someone in a spiritual role, someone who used the language of God to do what they did or to enforce the silence that followed, Lord, I want to name that as the compound harm it was. It was an abuse of my body and an abuse of your name at the same time. And the damage to faith that follows something like this is not a spiritual failing. It's a wound that makes complete sense. And I trust that you are not offended that I carry it. I trust that you are grieved by it. Lord, I need to return to the shame because it is not finished with one pass. Shame is not like other pain. Grief says, I have lost something. Shame says, I am something wrong. And what abuse does, and one of the deepest and most persistent things it does, is plant shame so close to identity that I began to believe the shame is me, that the violation revealed something true about my worth, that I am damaged in a way that is permanent and defining. Lord, I bring that lie to you and I ask you to dismantle it. I was made by you, made in your image, wholly, not partially, not minus the parts that were violated, not with an asterisk next to my worth. The violation did not change what I am. It was done to me. It did not become me. The shame belongs to the one who did this. Whatever they told me or whatever the silence implied or whatever the response of others communicated, the shame is theirs. It was theirs from the moment they chose what they chose, and I've been carrying something that was never mine. Lord, I know that knowing this and feeling this are two different things. I know the work of moving shame from where it has lodged in me to where it actually belongs is not finished in a single prayer. It may take more time than I want it to take. It may require more help than I have yet allowed myself to ask for. And that, the help, is something I need to name. Because if I've been carrying this alone, I don't have to. there are people equipped to sit with me in this, counselors and therapists who specialize in exactly this territory, who will not be shocked by what I say, who will not minimize it, who will not rush me toward a resolution or a solution that isn't real yet. People who understand the landscape of this wound from having walked it with others, and who know that healing here is slow work that goes better with accompaniment. Lord, seeking that help is not a failure of faith. It is not evidence that my grief is disordered. It's wisdom. It's courage. It's the decision to stop carrying alone what was always meant to be carried with support. If I've been putting that off, give me the courage today to take one step toward it, one call, one search, one conversation. I deserve that care, not as a consolation for what was taken, as a basic human right that was violated along with everything else, and that I am allowed to reclaim. Lord, I want to pray specifically now for the different ways this wound is carried. For those who were abused by someone in their family, who have had to navigate the grief of what was done alongside the unbearable complexity of what the family knows or doesn't know, what was believed or wasn't, what was protected and what was not, who may have been the one who was not believed, who was told to keep the peace, who was made to sit at the same table with the person who hurt them for years. Lord, that is a compound harm. It requires an endurance that no one should have to develop. And the grief of not being protected, of not being believed, it is its own wound alongside the original one. Meet me there if that is where I am. For those who were abused by someone in the church, who had to untangle faith from what was done in faith's name, Lord, meet me in that specific confusion, if that is mine to carry. Be present in the ruins of what was taken spiritually, not demanding a quick return to easy faith, just faithful in the long and difficult work of reconstruction. For those who have never told anyone, who are praying this prayer in complete privacy with a wound that has never been spoken aloud to another person, Lord, I trust that you have seen me since the day this happened. And I ask that something in this prayer opens a small door, creates a crack of permission, begins to move something that has been still for a very, very long time. For those who are newly naming what happened, who are only recently arriving at the understanding that what was done was abuse, who spent years minimizing it, explaining it away, telling themselves it wasn't that bad. Lord, meet me in that new and fragile place of naming. It takes courage. It takes enormous courage to say that word for the first time. I ask you to honor that courage in me. For those who have done years of work on this and are still finding new rooms in the house of it, who thought they had arrived somewhere and then found grief has layers, that healing is not linear, that something can surface years later and still need tending. Lord, let me not be discouraged by that. Let me understand that the fact that I'm still showing up, still willing to feel it and to bring it, is not weakness. It is some of the bravest work a person can do. Lord, I want to bring you my body because this woundedness lives in the body in a way that other wounds don't always. My body remembers what my mind has tried to move past. My body responds to things that my conscious mind has processed and filed away. And one of the hardest parts of this particular grief is the sense of having been separated from my own body, of living at a slight distance from it, not fully trusting it, not fully at home in it. Lord, I'm asking slowly, without demanding immediate results, for a healing that reaches here, not a bypassing of what happened, a genuine, unhurried restoration of the sense that this body is mine, that it is good, that it belongs to me and not to anyone who violated it, that what was done to it does not define it. You made this body. You called embodied human life good. You entered a human body yourself, and that was not an accident. It was a declaration that bodies matter, that the physical is not lesser, that the God who made flesh cared enough about it to inhabit it. This body is yours and mine, not the property of the person who violated it, not permanently marked by what they did. Lord, I want to close in the place of hope, not a hope that papers over the grief or demands a cheerfulness that isn't here yet, a genuine one, rooted in something real. You are a God who redeems, not just forgives, redeems. You take what was broken and you make it into something, not the original thing pretending the break didn't happen, something new that carries the history honestly and is whole anyway. That is what redemption is, not erasure, transformation. I do not know the full shape of what that looks like for me. I may not be able to see it clearly yet, but I trust the one who does it. I trust that the years I've spent surviving were not wasted in your economy, that what I learned in the hard places about endurance, about the difference between genuine safety and its performance, about what it means to be present with people who are hurting, that nothing was wasted, that even the wound has been forming something in ways I cannot yet fully see. I trust that the shame I have carried is not the last word about me, that the word you speak over me, beloved, made, known, held, is the word that outlasts every other. I trust that this body and this soul which were violated are in the process of being restored, slowly, imperfectly, with help, with the patient, unhurried presence of a God who is not in a hurry. Lord, help me to go gently. I have been carrying something heavy for a long time. I may carry some of it for a while longer. That is not failure. That is honest. But I do not have to carry it alone. Not alone with you. You have been in this with me since before I had words for it. And not alone among people. There are those equipped to help me, and I'm allowed to find them. and finding them is not weakness. It is one of the bravest things I can do. The Lord bless me and keep me. The Lord make his face to shine upon me in this of all things, and be gracious to me. The Lord lift up his countenance upon me and give me peace, the kind that reaches the body, the kind that reaches the place where the shame is lived and finds it, slowly, mercifully, emptying, the kind that says, I am known, I am not what was done to me, I am loved. That peace. Amen. If you are in crisis or in need support, RAINN operates a confidential hotline at 1-800-656-4673. 1-800-656-4673. Available 24 hours a day. You can also chat online at rainn.org. rainn.org. What happened to you was not your fault. Help is available, and you are worth receiving it.